This week, people are crossed and trust is broken as we look in the latest of My Hero, Seraph of The End, and Promised Neverland. All this only on the Big Eyes Podcast. Welcome to the latest episode of the Big Eyes Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I am your host, LJ. To my new fans coming in, thank you guys so much. For my old fans, thank you for just sticking with me and listen to the growth and progression of this show. If you are new to the Big Eyes Podcast, this is a podcast all about manga and is on the illustrious The Lookout Network or The Lookout RNC on Twitter, where we're just kind of your one-stop shop for all things anime and manga. So make sure that you go on Twitter and follow us at The Lookout RNC. So last week I did something new where I started Food Wars, and I'm just kind of going throughout me reading the series. It's my first time ever reading it, and it's very fun. And, I want to continue to expand on the content on this show. So if you have any recommendations, anything that you want to hear on this show, anything that you feel that I should check out, please feel free to hit me up either on Twitter. You can even hit up the RNC network page and just let us know, like, hey man, I want to hear this, or this is something dope that you should check out. I'm always open. But this week we got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Another entertaining chapter of Seraph the End this month, chapter 88. I have to keep reminding myself that Seraph the End is a monthly manga, which means when they tease stuff, I shouldn't think that it should happen next month. They're going to drag this on, and I'm probably not going to get what I really want until July. And I feel like Batista cutting that promo, and I'm just like, give me what I want, which is Gurren versus you, and, just a one-on-one battle. But we're not going to get that yet. Right now, they are, when we left off last chapter, Yu and Mika were in a tight spot where they're trapped in this building with Gurren coming after them. Yu has to take drastic measures, and he's like, listen, I have to let my demon take over me. So he talks to his demon, Ashura, and he allows Ashura to take over his body. When this happens, he goes into this like weird trance state where Ashura is completely in control of his body, but his conscious and mentally he's still talking to Ashura, and he's like making sure that Ashura doesn't go crazy and like kill his friends. They have this kind of comedic moment where Mika's looking at you and he's like, bro, what is going on with you? He's like in this weird just plain stoic state, and he just jumps up and he gets his like half his body stuck in the ceiling, where half of his lower body's hanging out, and Mika's like, what is going on? But during this moment, danger comes. Gurren finds him in the building. He pretty much traps Mika, corners Mika, and for some odd reason, they haven't fully explained why Gurren's demon is able to do this, but she is able to just kind of roam freely like another character, and his demon Noya, she finds the upper half of Yu's body, and you during this moment, it's funny, but you actually start to see how strong Yu's demon is, how strong Ashura is, because when Noya goes to attack, he starts using spells that he has never used before. This like 1,000 sword spell, which looks really cool. All these swords start popping out of the ground. In this attack, it just really blows Noya back, and he's like, listen, I have to go back to Gurren, and like we have to fuse together again. So Noya finds Gurren. Yu gets himself out of the ceiling, and Mika like looks at him and is just like, yo, who are you? What are you? What is going on? And this is really the big thing of this chapter, this moment right here, because Yu's demon finally introduces himself to Mika and says, I am Ashura, Tatus, and Mika has this moment where he kind of puts two to two together, and he figured out that Mika, Yu's demon, is Cruel's brother. And if you don't remember who Cruel is the person that turned Mika into a vampire in the first place. So he kind of has this moment where everything comes together for him. He's like, oh shit, like, I know, just all these things come together. It's tying a lot of loose ends in this chapter that were pretty big, and we're kind of waiting to see when these things are going to come about. But it happens. The final kind of image we get at the end of this chapter is Mika and you are finally gonna go 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 against Gurren. A battle that felt that was coming. I think we were more looking at a 1-on-1 thing, but we are getting this 2-on-1 situation where we get these best friends fighting Gurren. And once again, the what makes Seraph so great is that there's so many hidden motives within this whole series between characters, and you really don't understand or know what character wants from each. There's a lot of secret deals. There's just you really can't tell who is a good guy and who is really a bad guy. There's one thing I really love about this manga, and this chapter once again kind of makes this this feeling of who's really in the wrong here, like what is really gonna go on. So they end off really strong, but once again, next month something weird could happen, and next thing we're not seeing this battle until July. But overall, this month's chapter is it's a very entertaining chapter. I'm really waiting though to see when this action is going to happen. It's just at this boiling point where there's so much tension. You're just waiting for it to all kind of explode together and happen. But once again, a very good chapter of Seraph the End this month. A couple chapters from My Hero Academia. Right now we are at the point that everybody's been waiting for, the big battle of the PLF War. Now if you need an overview about what's happening in the PLF War, you can go back to episode 11. Me and my boy Mills, we did a whole episode doing a whole overview of everything you need to know leading up to this point. But now we are here, and really these last few chapters you can break them up to kind of like 3 important things that are happening. First being the battle between Mariko and the Nomus. This is really important because this is like the introduction of different tiered Nomus that they haven't really talked about before. But I guess there are different tiers of a like middle tier, a higher tier, and this rare elite tier that we are now seeing and facing, where they have the ability to talk and think for themselves. They have ability to hold multiple quirks and use them much better. And this is our first time seeing them in battle. So we see Mariko go against these ones, and it's this violent and like gruesome battle. This battle where it ends with her losing an arm, but the offense that she got on them, everything was just very intense. And she just so happens to come out on top. But this moment is, we start to see though that they have to fight multiple of these things, and those things like wore her out. So how can like the heroes continue to hold up against these monsters? Next up, it really is I feel like the really most important thing, and kind of the thing that everybody's kind of been waiting for, is Class 1A being introduced to the war. Really, this is they're right now they're in the second lines, and they're the ones outside of the hospital and just catching any enemies that are trying to escape this hospital while it's under attack. And as the battle is starting to rage on, you start to see more enemies be introduced, and this is Class 1A's time to shine. And really this moment really circles with Kaminari, who is really like you could really count him as the first line, a part of the first line, because he's rushing towards battle, and they're about to they're using him as a counter plan for one of the villains they know that has also like electrical powers. So they're using him kind of as that's their big counter attack for that. And he's going into battle, and you see his classmates, more specifically Gyro, really concerned, and they have this really sweet moment where she's really concerned with him going into the battle. And he while he's running into battle, he's scared, and she's pretty much like think of all the people that are counting on you, and he's thinking of her. And it's really this moment of like when your girl comes to open gym, and then you gotta show out. You was like, man, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. So he has this moment as they get in the battle. He meets the enemy who throws this powerful attack at him, and he's there to retrieve it in this beautiful panel where he looks completely dope. Probably one of my favorite panels of this whole these last few chapters. Second favorite, because now this is really like the big surprise, the big turn that we see, where Hawk finally lifts his mask on the enemy and shows that he's been a spy this whole time. He goes and he attacks twice, and how he does it is how it seemed that he's been waiting to like kill him this whole time, or like get at him this whole time. Like that was the one villain that he was just like, I need to, I cannot wait to take him out. So it's cool to see Hawk just now enter the battle though on the side of the heroes, and just see the cool things that he's about to do. But those are really like the things right now that's happening. It gets me excited to think what's gonna happen when the mains come in, when does Todoroki come in, when does Deku come in, when does Bakugo come in, and all the other heroes that we love and see. But really the mains, and also got us thinking about what happens with Shigaraki, who is still under this treatment plan of they keep saying that he has like 3 months left that he has to be under it. So what's gonna happen? Does he get in the battle early? Does this drag on for 3 months? So I'm wondering like how they're gonna move this, or like how this is gonna look moving forward, and what like role things are gonna play moving forward. The Promised Neverland did International Women's Day completely correct. They went all hard for it. Having the moment where all these women are holding Peter Ratry at gunpoint. So, shout out to all the grandmothers, shout out to all the mothers that keep the blammer tucked under the apron. It was just what a beautiful visual, what a beautiful moment. So right now, in Promised Neverland, if these last couple chapters, these kids are pulling off this beautiful and great heist. Something that is just straight out of Grand Theft Auto Online. It is beautifully executed. They are taking over Grace Field House. So right now, they have some friends that are hostage there, but it was all part of a bigger plan to make sure that they're able to get in. They got hackers, shutting down systems. They got squad teams. It's just what a beautifully executed thing. And they are, right now they are attempting to capture Peter Ratry. So as they are, taking down the systems, they're taking down these other demons. They kind of get caught slipping a little bit though. It's okay. Players mess up. So, they get caught slipping, and Peter Ratry catches their hack squad team by playing a fake video. So they're making it seem he was in one room. They fell for the trick, and he pretty much came and got them like that. But shout out to the little homies, because they held it down, because instead of them running back and protecting the little ones who were back safe locked, they went to where Peter Ratry was. And so they came in there. Everyone was like, yo, caught him off guard. Peter Ratry wasn't ready for that. So after that, they got him tied up. It's just all these kids are just like, nigga, like, stay down, homie. It was crazy. But here's where things got like even more intense, even more wild. So Peter Ratry had, Isabella, all the moms, they were coming in, and he's like, hi, you thought like I was alone? So, Isabella is finally having this face off between, Emma and Norman and all these kids, and it's kind of like, it's intense. That was their mom. That's someone they thought they could trust, and turned out they couldn't. It was really intense, but they're looking at each other, and and Isabella's pretty much like, I'm proud of it. Perfect scores for everyone, and all of them turn on Peter Ratry, and it was just this, like, he just gets crossed. He's stunned. Everyone's stunned. Everyone's like, yo, I'm not believing what I'm seeing. And at this, this is okay. They got kind of weird here. They got a little bit weird here. So they have this great moment. They're all pointing the guns, and Isabella's reasoning for it was dope. Where she was just like, "Listen, I still don't agree with you, but me and you both have the same goal of we don't want to live in this shitty world anymore. So I'm just gonna like side with you for now. But whatever. Like, if you still hate me, whatever, it is what it is. But I'm trying to get out of here too." But it ends with that. You're sitting there thinking like, oh man, like, wow, what a great way to tie this all together. But at the end, Peter Ratry somehow gets a gun and starts trying to make an escape, and he's like, I'm not gonna lose. So I'm very much wondering what is going to happen with this whole everything, because I really hope it don't extend like what's gonna happen, because they kind of like I'm not gonna say they need to wrap it up, but that would have been a cool way to wrap it up and like be able to be like, all right, goodbye. But I don't know. So I wonder what happens, because this battle has been going on for a long time. But these last couple chapters, though, very entertaining, very fun. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Big Eyes Podcast. Once again, you can follow me on Twitter at JamalSLM, and you can follow me on Instagram at StrawHatLJ. Once again, follow the RNC Radio Network Live Twitter. Follow The Lookout RNC on Twitter. All amazing podcasts. We got, if you're a comics book fan, we got the Black Variant. It's just everything, man, is just going on over there. Also, last special thing, if you're continuing to listen to this, we got a special Digimon episode dropping on The Lookout, where we're talking about the new Digimon series, what's all that, and just the history of Digimon. It was very fun. So shout out to Mill, shout out to Jeff. Very fun episode. If you're a fan of Digimon, even if you're not a fan of Digimon, if you like slightly remember it, it's just a nice little fun episode where we're talking about that and what the new series could bring. But once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay plus ultra. Peace.